through these last few episodes, we've explored the trifecta treasure trove and how we can explore neuroscience and consciousness with unconditional love to really get to know parts of ourselves and aspects of our own divine soul essence or consciousness in a profound way that really connects with the deeper inner realities of our being, understanding the structures of brain-body wiring and body-mind miracles so that we can get to know the essence of all that we are within and beyond the human experience. Okay, now that we've explored that, how can we use it? How can we apply it? How can this become or lead into a daily practice that nourishes us and connects deeper with parts of self and fulfills those attachment needs and resculpts brain-body wiring and repatterns those unconscious memories and the way that it has patterns of feeling and movement that navigate life subconsciously or unconsciously, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to share with you just one of infinite examples, one of my personal favorites, but literally there's infinite potential here. So through the liberated consciousness diagram, we explore implicit self-sense. And through the expanded spirit diagram, we explore the foundation of self-essence, bridging worlds with the presently perceiving self. And among these inner realities includes the attachment needs of feeling tenderly held and abundantly taken care of, and with a sense of playful fun and whimsical adventure, and the need to feel seen and loved, treasured, appreciated, celebrated, with a sense of belonging and being valued and wanted. And through all of my modalities, a core practice is called social self-engagement, where there's distinction and connection between aspects of the self, and then different parts of self fulfill the attachment needs for each other, while all those aspects start to grow attachments with each other. And this is all facilitated through the awareness of consciousness. And so step 1 is loving presence, just being in loving presence. Step 2 is practicing distinction and connection between parts of self, the awareness of self being distinct from and connected with the experiencer of self, and then different parts of the inner experiencer being distinguished from each other. And this is what we've explored through the Bodymind Soul-Self treasure mapping, which is a way to apply the insights from the trifecta treasure trove and not just talk about it, but create a visual representation of what that actually looks like in specific life scenarios and personal experiences. And so if you have a specific thing you're encountering, you're like, oh, there's this chronic pattern of thinking or feeling, or this aspect of my personality, or whatever it might be, then you create a Body, Mind, Soul, Self treasure map to understand all those different components of neuroscience and consciousness in application with your specific experience and personal scenario. And then you can understand the structures of your inner realms better while connecting deeper with the aspects of self and understanding who they truly are within and beyond that experience. And so social self-engagement practices, the first 3 steps, just loving presence, distinction and connection between parts of self, and then practicing self-attunement as the awareness of self is attuned with the experiencer of self, and then different parts of the inner experiencer are attuned with each other. And as simple as that sounds, it's actually a very complex process that has so much dynamic depth that we explore in great detail through the trifecta treasure trove. And so through the liberated consciousness diagram, there's 4 regions of self-aspects that each connect with each other in different ways. So there's 8 regions of aspects in terms of how they're connecting with each other. And then in the expanded spirit diagram, there's 3 layers of self-aspects. And we explore the ways that they all connect with each other. And within each of those regions and layers are infinite aspects of self. And while these models provide a simplified way to explore them, there are infinite parts of the self within each of those layers and regions. And then the social self-engagement practice actually begins once you've established that foundation. And then you start to create a felt sense, a somatically felt sense of the fulfillment of those attachment needs and grow attachments between aspects of the self. And this process accomplishes a million miracles simultaneously. It activates and awakens consciousness, reunifies parts of self across all time, dimension, space, and reality, nourishes attachment needs at body-mind foundations, which naturally improves brain-body regulation, resculpts patterns of feeling and movement in unconscious memories to improve the quality of everyday moments, improves and expands content and connectivity throughout activated navigational patterns in the body-mind, and allows for unconditional love and pure magic to be subconsciously patterned into brain-body wiring. And this can gradually help to heal and restore and resolve and nourish anything that needs it, and can connect all parts of self deeper with each other and the present moment, and can improve and expand the quality of life from the inside out, and improve and expand the quality of your sense of self and inner realities, so life shifts from within your own being. And so through the trifecta treasure trove, as we connect with different parts of self in different ways and different energies of brain-body wiring and aspects of consciousness, a really beautiful practice is slumber party sleepovers. And slumber party sleepovers as a play prompt prescription, a personalized play prompt prescription. So you can tweak the details to fit who you are, where you're at, and whatever your intentions might be. But a personalized play prompt prescription is to have slumber party sleepovers. Before we explain what it is, let's connect with the feeling of it, okay? Imagine that you're a young child, anywhere between ages like 5 and 12, maybe. You can pick a time. And if a certain memory comes up that assists you in connecting with the feeling of this, you can flow with that, or you can simply use your imagination. But imagine that you're a small child and you're going to a sleepover, a slumber party, a sleepover slumber party. And maybe it's for a birthday celebration, or maybe it's just for fun. And you're excited and you've got all your stuff packed up, and you've got all your sleepover bag and your cozy pillow and your snuggly blanket, and you've got your backpack and it's filled with all your cozy favorite clothes and a change of clothes and all the things that you need. And maybe you bring some toys or some games or some activities you'd like to share with your friends. And you really love these people. Like you love spending time with them. They love you unconditionally. You love them unconditionally. They respect and honor you. You respect and honor them. You always feel very supported and safe when you're with them, when you're in their presence. And they feel the same way with you. And you can just be yourself. You can just be all of you, whether that's silly and kooky, or serious and contemplative, or expressive and wild, or calm and relaxed, or whatever it is. You get to just be yourself. And nothing feels more amazing than just getting to be yourself with people you love and love you. And that experience of unconditional love and playful fun and just being safe and secure and tenderly held and supported and connected and respected and embraced and nourished, and just all of it. It feels amazing, and there's so much space for play and fun and creativity and self-expression and exploration and just freedom to do what you want and have fun. It's just a whole night where you get to do whatever. And there's no bedtime. You get to go to bed whenever you want. And you get to fall asleep next to a best friend, and you get to have this new adventure. And maybe it's with one friend or a couple friends, or maybe even a big group. Just flow with whatever feels right in your imagination. And so you're really excited about this sleepover. And so you go and you have this amazing time, and it's just so much fun. And there's nothing big and special going on. It's not like it's $1 million birthday party and you're driving limousines into big fancy mansions, although that would be fun too. But even though it's nothing big and crazy, it feels like the most glorious adventure you could ever possibly imagine. And the littlest things mean so much to you. And every moment is so precious and so celebrated and so profound. And you are just absolutely in love with your existence in those moments. And imagine a similar scenario where someone is coming over for a slumber party at your house. Maybe it's your birthday celebration. You're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, somewhere in there. And friends are coming over to your house. And again, you can connect with a certain memory if you have one, or just use your imagination, okay? And so people are coming over for a slumber party at your house, and maybe there's 2 people, maybe 5 people, maybe 10 people, maybe 15 people. And they're all these really amazing friends. And again, there's just unconditional love. There's just unconditional love. You love them. They love you. You feel supported and connected and feel so seen and loved and celebrated. You feel like you belong, and you feel just safe to be yourself and so comfortable and at ease, and like you can speak your opinion and it's totally seen and heard, and you can choose your preference and it's totally respected and honored. And life is just so magical in those moments. And so there's all these people coming over to your house to celebrate you. It's your birthday and they're here to celebrate you and do whatever you want to do. You get to pick all the things. And everybody's just like, yeah, that sounds amazing because we're here to hang out and celebrate you. And so you get to pick the flow of stuff and choose what time you want to eat and what you want to eat. And you get to choose which activities you want to do and what games you want to play and what activities you want to do. And, who does what when you're doing different, dramas and adventures or whatever you're playing with. And when it comes time to maybe snuggle up, maybe you get to pick a movie and cozy up with everyone. And you get to pick the yummy snacks and all the things. And when you fall asleep at night, there's so much satisfaction because you're surrounded by people that are here to love you and celebrate you. And you fall asleep so grateful and satisfied by your experiences and so excited and eager to wake up the next morning surrounded by all these people that just love you and are just here to have a good time being in abundant love with you. And so you fall asleep just feeling so safe and so secure and so held and so celebrated and like you just belong with this unconditional love and magical presence of your own being and so safe, so secure, so supported, so connected, so embraced, so connected, so supported, so embraced, so respected, so honored, so important. You're so important. You're so valued. You're so wanted. And you feel that inside of your body, not just in your emotions, not just in your mind and perceptions, although it's there too. All these feelings of love and magic and presence and wonder, feeling like you're important and you belong and you're wanted and valued and honored and respected and all that. It pervades your thoughts and your perceptions and it pervades your emotions and your feelings, but it also pervades the cells of your body. And from head to toe, every inch of your body feels the unconditional love and pure magic of your soul. And when you wake up that morning, that following morning, it's all there. You just feel so loved and you get to be around these people that are just happy to see you. They smile just because they're looking at you and they love you and you get to just play and be yourself and it just continues. The magic just continues and you have yummy brunches and you're sharing these moments with people you love who love you. And it's all love and it's all magic. Okay, now take that feeling and bring that feeling into your own inner parts of self. And imagine that there's the awareness of yourself, and then there's the experiencer of self, distinction and connection. And then imagine within your inner experiencer, and there's lots of different ways to play with this, but in this particular scenario, we are going to use the expanded spirit diagram and connect with aspects of the inner experiencer as the inner life partner and the inner child primarily. And in this scenario, as with many scenarios in the application of the expanded spirit diagram, the inner best friend is there with the purpose of ensuring that the inner life partner and inner child stay connected. And so the inner best friend is here in this play prompt, but in a more passive role, not an actively engaged role. Okay, so we've got the awareness of self, the inner life partner, and the inner child. The inner life partner is the presently perceiving self through the mind, especially as the present day adult self. And the inner child is the foundation of self-essence at the core of the body, which includes the foundational self-essence of the soul and aspects of self who experience life during early childhood years. And the attachment needs that we're focused on is the need to feel tenderly held and abundantly taken care of, the need to feel playful fun and whimsical adventure, and the need to feel seen, loved, treasured, appreciated, celebrated, valued, wanted, and with a sense of belonging. While other internal needs might come into play, those are the primal focal points, the primary focus points. The objective is to create a somatically felt sensed fulfillment of those specific internal attachment needs. And so now the play begins. The play prompt is for you to enjoy a slumber party sleepover with the awareness of yourself, your inner life partner, and your inner child. And the awareness of self is growing attachments with the experiencer of self. And the awareness of self is growing attachments with the inner life partner. And the awareness of self is facilitating attachments being developed from the inner life partner to the inner child. And for the inner child to look to the awareness of self and the inner life partner for the fulfillment of their needs. And so the awareness of self and inner life partner are much like two romantic lovers. And the inner life partner and the inner child are much like a child and their parent in that process of attachment development when there's the young child and then the parent or caregiver. And so through this social self-engagement practice and process, we're mirroring that attachment bonding process. And so parts of self are growing attached with each other while creating a felt sense of fulfillment of those internal attachment needs. And the slumber party sleepover play prompt is facilitating an opportunity to practice that. And so as you go about your day, oh my God, I'm going to a sleepover tonight. We're getting the hyped upness. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for spending time with the people that I love. I'm so looking forward to spending this time with me. And maybe you have something specific planned, or maybe you're just setting time aside to spend time with you. And as the evening approaches, oh my God, I'm here. I'm at my best friend's house, or my best friends just came over, and these best friends are inside of you. It's the awareness of self, the inner life partner, and the inner child. But you're mirroring the attachment bonding process and bringing up kind of the setting or scenario in your own imagination of being at a slumber party sleepover. And then you can go about your evening, and whatever you're doing, when you're eating dinner, when you're hanging out, when you're cleaning up, when you're relaxing, when you're exercising, when you're watching a movie, whatever you're doing, you're not just going about your night and doing those things and experiencing them. You are the awareness of yourself growing attached with the inner life partner, while the inner life partner grows attached with the inner child. And the awareness of self facilitates a felt sense of fulfillment for the attachment needs of the inner life partner and the inner child. And the felt sense of that might be a little bit different for the childhood self at the foundation of self-essence in the depths of the body, and the presently perceiving present day adult self, especially in the perception of the mind. And that's okay. Sometimes it might be the exact same things. And as you're going about your evening, you're at a slumber party sleepover with the people you love more than anything, and those essence of self is within you through distinction, connection between aspects of self. And again, the inner best friend is kind of playing a passive role here and just ensuring that the inner life partner and inner child stay connected. Because if there's thoughts that come up of like, I don't have time for this, this is silly, I feel ridiculous, I'm just gonna not do this, or I'm thinking about all this stuff I have to do, or I don't have time for play, or whatever thoughts are coming up, or if there's different emotions coming up, like, whether that's feeling, like critical and self-judgment, or feeling lonely, like, oh my God, I wish I actually had people here to actually spend these moments with, or whatever emotions are coming up. If they are restricting your capacity to engage with this practice, then that's the inner best friend not able to facilitate connection between the inner life partner and the inner child. And that's where you take a moment and the awareness of self turns to the inner best friend and is like, hey, I know you're just trying to be a friend. I know you're just trying to help me navigate this moment. And so no hard feelings. Like, I'm not mad that you're being judgmental. I'm not mad that you're feeling sad. I'm not mad that you're, whatever. Holding space and working with parts of self. This is the application of actually working with parts of self. I know in the last few episodes, right, we've explored a lot about like the concept, the modality, the structure of them, the ideas of them. But this is how it can actually be applied in a very personal, specific scenario situation, okay? And so you're going about this play prompt, this slumber party sleepover play prompt, and there's all these thoughts and feelings and maybe even impulses, urges, choice, tendency, action patterns that are limiting your capacity to fully experience the actualization of this play, okay? And then the awareness of self is like, okay, I'm trying to connect with my inner life partner, my present moment self, and I'm trying to connect with my inner child, that foundation of my essence, but there's something kind of blocking me from fully connecting with those parts of myself. So I'm going to pause here and actually turn to my inner best friend. And the inner best friend is the self that bridges those worlds. And the inner best friend is the self that flows through a lot of body-mind data between childhood and now, okay? So imagine that ages 0 through 12 created data that the inner child's connected with. And imagine that the present moment self is in the awareness through the frontal lobes of the brain. And then there's all this data of navigational patterns with unconscious memories from your entire life that bridge the gap between this immediate moment and those early innocent childhood years. Or if there's been, maybe some childhood trauma or something, maybe it wasn't so innocent, but those early life years, okay? And so the inner best friend is connected with all of this data. And if that data hasn't been resculpted through unconditional love and pure magic of your soul, then it might disrupt navigation and limit your capacity to nourish yourself through a process like this. And that's okay, because this is part of the process. This is part of the process of working with parts of the self. This is part of the process of creating that loving liberation. This is part of the process. It's an equally important part of that process, okay? And so if there's anything coming up restricting that capacity, maybe it's hard to practice distinction and connection. Maybe it's hard to grow attuned with yourself. Maybe it's hard to connect with the attachment needs you have and create a felt sense of fulfillment for them. Maybe it's hard to play and use your imagination to allow the moment to be more than what it otherwise would be. Maybe there's patterns of thoughts or feelings or impulses or urges or choice tendencies or emotions or responses or perception or inner narrative or dialogue or memory flashbacks or whatever it might be. Maybe even a disconnection between the mind and the body, mind, body, spirit, that are limiting the bridge between these inner worlds of your own being, okay? Whatever it might be, this is a chance to work with parts of self in a different way and connect with the inner best friend. And in this process, there is the body-mind regions that carry all those navigational networks, all the wiring of the stuff that's influencing those regions of personal experience, right? Okay, all that navigational data from your whole life, right? But then there are the parts of the self, aspects of consciousness that have nothing to do with that information, but they are within the experience of it through body-mind miracles, okay? And we want to work with parts of the self, not just the navigational structures. We can look at those thoughts, we can look at those feelings, we can even look at the navigational networks and brain-body wiring that are simulating and generating and producing and projecting that. But right now, we actually want to work with the consciousness. We want to work with the soul, the substance of the soul, the essence of the self. And so by addressing these parts of the self as the inner best friend, we can kind of just hold space to connect in a different way. And instead of responding to those critical thoughts or responding to those, whatever it might be, you're responding to the parts of consciousness who are flowing through that experience beyond awareness. Experiencing the projection of that navigation beyond what you know, okay? You might be able to immediately see these thought patterns, but there's deeper realities of the body, mind, and self-essence, and that's what we're exploring through the trifecta treasure trove. And so if anything's disrupting the slumber party sleepover play prompt, you turn to your inner best friend, you're like, hey, I get it. There's been a lot of stuff. There's been a lot of stuff. Right? There's been a lot of life stuff. And all that life stuff created these energies of navigation in the body mind that aren't able to fully support the capacity for this love and play and gentleness and imagination and whatever it might be. And in this process, you're honoring those parts of self for what they're experiencing and validating those inner worlds by acknowledging the brain-body wiring that's causing the experience of it. And this is why working with parts of the self is so important and so powerful. Because if you just respond to the thoughts, you're not connecting with parts of self and you're not acknowledging the brain-body wiring that's creating those thoughts. And so you don't have the opportunity to really shift them and really connect deeper with yourself. And so we turn to that inner best friend like, hey, I get it. I understand that these projections of navigation are just coming from these past experiences that didn't have a felt sense of attachment need fulfillment. And these patterns of projections are coming from this brain-body wiring inside of me that's trying to support me by navigating life, but it's doing so from some outdated programming, if you will, some outdated data that we're actually here to shift so that you don't have to experience those critical thoughts or those, whatever it is that's coming up. And you just hold space for that inner best friend. And in this process of just honoring them, they start to drop their guard. And the intensity of those navigational projections starts to decrease because the body mind starts to feel its attachment needs fulfilled, because you're holding space to see and love yourself. You're holding space to support and connect with yourself. You're holding space to respect and honor and embrace yourself. You're holding space to help parts of you feel safe and sustained right here, right now. And in this process of working with parts of self, there's other steps you can go through, but gradually, through distinction and connection between self-aspects and nourishing those attachment needs that are coming up in those clues of projections from body-mind navigation, things will start to shift in your consciousness and in the activity of your body-mind, and gradually, through repetition, in the brain-body wiring that's deeper beneath it all. And as you're able, you return to the Slumber Party Sleepover play prompt, and you start to practice again. And you start from step 1. And you practice distinction between the awareness of self, the experiencer of self. You practice distinction and connection between the inner life partner and the inner child. You practice the fulfillment of attachment needs. You practice the fulfillment of attachment bonding, growing attachments between aspects of self. And you practice and you play and you practice and you play and you try new things and you see what works and you tweak your perspective and your imagination and you shift the way you engage with activities and you play and you see what happens and you sense the somatic shifts within you, and this unconditional love and pure magic of your soul begins to pervade the moments as you enjoy a slumber party sleepover with different parts of your own self connected in new ways. There's more to this process, but that's kind of a good summary. And so you go through and all those different stages of a slumber party sleepover we imagined earlier, you kind of play with that and you explore that. And all throughout the evening, and then as you go to bed, you look into that mirror and you're like, hey, I had so much fun with you tonight. Oh my God, that moment where we did this, that was so much fun. Oh my God, when this happened, oh my God, you were so cute. It was so fun to share that with you. Like, you're so funny. Like, I just love you. And I loved sharing this part of the day with you. And I love this. And I love this about you. And I'm so excited to be here. And I love getting to fall asleep with you. And I'm excited to wake up with you. And I'm so excited just to have the opportunity to spend time with you and love you. And like, okay, thank you. Good night. Oh my God, you want to cuddle? Oh my God, you want to talk until we fall asleep? And then when you wake up, the first thing you do before you look at the experience is you look at your inner experiencer and you start to process the second you wake up. Oh my God, it's so fun to wake up with you. What do you want to do today? Oh my God, let's do it together. Oh my God, you want to do it together? We should totally do it together. You and me. No, we'll do it together. It'll be so much more fun when we do it together. And you start to process over. The awareness of self grows attachments with the inner life partner and facilitates the inner life partner growing attached with the inner child, and the inner child looking to the inner life partner and the awareness of self for the fulfillment of their attachment needs, and creating a felt sense of your own need to feel tenderly held, abundantly taken care of, playful, fun, whimsical adventure, seen, loved, treasured, appreciated, celebrated, supported, connected, valued, with a sense of belonging and importance. Whatever attachment needs you want to specifically address. And that intention is prioritized as you move through your day. So no matter where you're at, who you're with, what you're doing, what else is going on, that practice is in the forefront and the background of your mind and sensed in your body. And that social self-engagement practice facilitates somatic sensations of loving liberation for all parts of you. This is just one of infinite ways to work and play with parts of the self. If you'd like to dive deeper and explore more social self-engagement practices and play prompt prescriptions, I invite you to explore my self-guided journeys, especially self-love liberation. Self-love liberation. Self-love liberation, self-guided journey, self-love liberation course that I've created with playbooks. It goes through and explores clues from attachment systems, over 100 distinct styles of internal navigation, where if you recognize those patterns of thought or feeling or personality traits or choice tendencies, you can know that it's actually a clue about these certain attachment needs that really need your attention. And then dozens of really fun, simple, easy, enjoyable, and yet powerfully transformative social self-engagement practices that can be effortlessly and enjoyably applied in everyday life moments. If you want more of an introductory or beginner journey, you can also explore Healing into Happiness playbooks and Restoring Consciousness toolkit. Those are absolute perfect beginner starter kits for this type of inner journey. Restoring Consciousness toolkit with ways of exploring parts of the self and clues about inner realities and cultivating your personal power, and Healing into Happiness playbooks that have an amazing variety of play prompts, simple, fun, easily engaging practices to nourish mindfulness and self-love and connect deeper with all parts of you while amplifying the well-being of navigation and regulation and brain-body miracles. And then for that kind of next level journey, there's self-love liberation, a good kind of beginner to intermediate journey. And for more advanced journeys, there's Mere Play with Mere Power, which includes Dear Inner Life Partner, personalized marathon prescription playbooks, and creative connections, a beginner, intermediate, and advanced journey of exploring eye-gazing practices in mirrors that are often complemented by other practices used in everyday moments. And that is a deeper dive into social self-engagement practices that reunify self-aspects, create that somatic wholeness from within your own being, connect you deeper with all parts of self, while nourishing attachment needs at Bodymind Foundations, resculpting brain-body wiring, and repatterning navigation and regulation to rewrite all the existing data so it can have more opportunity to support the unconditional love and pure magic of your soul essence. So those are self-guided journeys. Again, introductory, beginner would be Restoring Consciousness Toolkit and Healing into Happiness Playbook. Intermediate, beginner to intermediate would be Self-Love Liberation. That's the one I recommend the most. And to explore social self-engagement practices in mirrors and not just in everyday moments, you can explore my Mere Play with Mere Power series. Dear Inner Life Partner is a good beginner introductory course. Personalized Marathon Prescription Playbooks is a good intermediate level of mirror journeys. And Creative Connections is the perfect intermediate to advanced journey when you're ready to dive deeper. And it includes a 2.5-hour weekly marathon plus amazing other mirror practices that can be used for just a few minutes here or there, like 5 minutes before you go to bed at night, when you wake up in the morning, etc., or just 15 minutes throughout your day sort of deal. And then a variety of practices that can be easily integrated into everyday moments, like when you're washing your hair and unloading the dishwasher, etc. So lots of amazing self-guided journeys through courses. If you want to dive deeper, I absolutely love serving as a guide through personalized sessions where we use these concepts in a way that can really meet you where you're at, for who you truly are, and whatever your personal intentions might be. And every step of that process is custom tailored to perfectly fit you. Through single sacred soul sessions, my two primary offerings are Bodymind Soul Self Treasure Mapping and Social Soul Self Inward Imagination Ignitions. There are free introductory playbooks for each of those that go into all the details of what's included. And if you want to dive into the deepest depths of glorious wonder, these are the exact modalities I serve as a guide through step by step, not just to guide you through them, but to teach you all the different crevices and corners of the modality, the concepts, the structures, the applications, the techniques, the practices, the journeys, every possible crevice of it, so that you have this as a lifelong inner resource and a skill set. And that's through a 3 or 6 month personalized journey through Reborn as Infinite Love. Reborn as Infinite Love. And we go through the teaching of everything I've shared in the previous episodes here of exploring those 5 components of neuroscience, 5 components of body-mind navigation, and 5 components of consciousness, exploring aspects of the self through that kind of structure and lens, creating body-mind soul-self treasure maps to apply the insights of that in a personal way, and to have new personalized play prompt prescriptions where you're learning 1 to 3 new practices every week for those many months, and allowing those practices to fulfill your intentions. to connect deeper with parts of self and resculpt brain-body wiring and body-mind miracles that were drawn in the treasure mapping after applying all the insights we talked about through treasure trove tete-a-tetes and discussing the concepts and application of these ideas. Very powerful journey. And I serve as a teacher, guide, and facilitator. And so leading you step by step through this process, this practice, this journey, so you're learning and growing and healing and expanding and evolving and connecting deeper with all parts of yourself every day. But then after those 3 months or after that 6 months, you'll have this as a tool, a skill set, a reference point for your many months and years moving forward. And there's truly no limits with this. No matter who you are, where you're at, what your intentions are, there's always room for expansion and infinite potentiality through these modalities. And so it's not a modality you're going to outgrow in a month. It's a modality that has so much possibility to serve and support continuous expansion for years or even decades to come, because they're so complex and in great detail, dynamic depth, but also so simply and succinctly applied in any moment of everyday life. You can find out more about all of my different offerings through web pages and introductory playbooks. The links are available in the video descriptions, the podcast descriptions, and you can always explore more of my recent content on YouTube and Instagram and my podcast, etc., to kind of just get the taste test of all the magic that's being splayed through my soul into the cosmos. And to connect further, you can always email me, whether that's to schedule a one-on-one session, order a self-guided journey, or inquire about a multi-month personal pathway. I do have spaces open right now for my one-on-one 3 or 6 month journey, and it includes a variety of playbooks and self-guided journeys, along with weekly video sessions where we go through the treasure trove tete-a-tetes, the body, mind, soul, self treasure mapping, personalized play prompt prescriptions, and after every session you receive an email about the summary of everything we went over and your play prompt moving forward, and you get to learn these modalities so that you can continue harnessing them beyond just our time together. Thank you so much for being here. Please enjoy your slumber party sleepover play prompt, and I look forward to connecting with you in another content creation, or better yet, through my deep dive offerings. Have a beautiful and blessed day, and infinite loving liberation to the awareness of your consciousness, your inner life partner, your inner best friend, and your inner child.